Well, I think we're all aware of the issues the current condition of the road presents, but we'll cover them again here. Personal safety, current road conditions delay emergency vehicle response. Property values, I've talked to 5 realtors that have listings here, all stated that the condition of the road is detrimental to making a sale. One, Peter Fife, went so far as to say the condition of the road is costing the average homeowner in Prescott Prairie $40,000 to $50,000 in resale value. Personal vehicles, I've heard all the stories: broken windshields, bent rims, flats. No one can say that this road is not hard on our vehicles. I think a big important point to bring up is that Prescott Prairie is over 90% of the traffic on this road, and there's still over 300 unapproved acres that remain in Prescott Prairie. So this community will continue to grow, only adding more traffic to the road. Potential for about 45% more traffic than today. If ignored, the conditions will just continue to deteriorate. The board would like to acknowledge some unsung heroes of the community. These are people we all need to thank that for years have donated their time and money to try and improve the condition of the road. Sky Johnson and NVDRM, Brandon McCurdy and his crew, and Ron and Sabrina Kuhn, and all other community members that have donated to these efforts, past and present. Thanks again for all you guys have done. On the road, legal review. We have retained the Mulcahy law firm to draft the amendment to our CCNRs and create the ballot. This will add wording in section 2.1 of our CCNRs to include maintenance of the 1.2 mile section of East Mummy View Drive as an area of association responsibility. They exclusively practice community association law and represent over 1,000 HOAs in Arizona. They've helped many HOAs amend their CCNRs without 100% owner approval, as stated in the Callaway case. Now, some notes on the Callaway case. This is the case where we've been told in the past that any CCNR amendments require 100% community approval. The legal opinion of Mulcahy law firm is that the Callaway ruling applies to amendments that change how an individual owner may use his or her property. As this proposed amendment applies to the entire community, it does not fall into that category. We will use Empire Paving for this project if approved. They have given a competitive bid and have done many jobs for home co-managed properties in the area. So the work to be done to pave the 1.2 miles section of Mummy View Drive is $491,000. That consists of milling the existing road, grading and compacting the milling into a road base, and putting 3 inches thick of asphalt on top of that. The plan also includes doing some work inside the arch. The paving company will do asphalt repairs where needed. All cracks up to 1 inch will be filled with a hot rubberized sealant, and the entire paved areas will be coated with a seal coat product, and that's $35,000. Their estimate for ongoing maintenance for all the paved areas is $20,000 every 2 to 3 years. Okay, on the road financing. Part of the plan to pay for this includes using a combination of existing HOA cash and a bank loan. So this is our existing cash balance as of 4/30. Operating cash balance and our reserve balance, we have a total of about $373,000. The bank loan would be $200,000 under this plan. Current interest rate 6.8%, 10-year note, and monthly payment about $2,300 a month. No loan prepayment penalty if we decide to pay it down and pay it off in less than 10 years. And we've been in talks with a Foothills Bank. They're local, located in Prescott, and they're very eager to work with us. They do this type of lending regularly. The other part of paying for this plan is a one-time special assessment and two consecutive 20% annual assessment increases in 26 and 27. The total annual assessment increase over the 2 years for an improved acre is $52 and $19 for an unimproved acre. Even after these annual assessment increases, our HOA fees will remain among the lowest in the area. There will also be a one-time special assessment of $200 per improved acre and $75 per unimproved acre. This assessment will be billed immediately if approved by the community. And again, this assessment schedule assumes community approvals on the CC&R amendment and the related ballot items as part of this plan. Okay, this slide basically ties everything on the previous slides together and shows the projected financial impact to the community if this plan is approved. This is a conservative forecast. It doesn't include increases in improved properties. As building continues, these will only go up, but we've just left it the same for this this demonstration here, this presentation. It doesn't include ARC fees either, so that would increase the receivable amount. So if we take a look here at 2025, this is our current annual assessment amount here. This is the proposed one-time assessment. This is our operating cash that we showed on the previous slide, the reserve cash, our current accounts receivable as of April, and a one-time, this is the one-time assessment total once that's billed out, and this is the loan amount. So about $680,000 in assets. The expenses, the Mummy View paving costs, the work inside the arch, the loan payments. This is a little high. This is 6 months of loan payments. By the time we get everything rolling and approved, it would probably be more like 4 or 5 months of payments. And then operational expenses. These are the management fees we pay HomeCo, legal fees, insurances, mailings, anything it takes to maintain the community. So as you can see, we're even under this plan, we are still maintaining a very healthy cash balance here and going forward. We could take a look 26. This is when the first 20% increase, annual increase kicks in, and that amount's reflected here. There'll be no one-time assessment that was done in 25. And then the cash balance is brought forward, reserve cash, our new receivable amount, and that's just based on the annual billing for the annual assessment. Total assets, 179. Now we're accounting for a maintenance set aside of $10,000 each year, and that's taken out of the cash balance and just put aside, and that's to cover the road maintenance of the every 2 to 3 year road maintenance at $20,000. And a full year of loan payments and operational expenses adjusted for inflation, 3%. And as you see, our cash balance is going up. In 27, the second 20% increase, the amount reflected here, and then the amounts that I mentioned previously are pretty much the same. But we could definitely do this plan and still maintain a healthy cash balance. The numbers that you're looking at here, they're all accurate. They're taken directly from current financials. And we understand there's a lot of numbers here. That's why this presentation will be sent to you in an email. You'll see it on a PDF slideshow, and it'll be posted to the community website as well for you guys to review. This slide details your 3-year out-of-pocket costs. So the key part of this slide to look at is owner cost estimates over here. So this is based on an average 2-acre property here in Prescott Prairie, 2 acres improved and 2 acres unimproved. So the total 3-year amount out of pocket, when all's said and done, is $552 for 2 improved acres, and $205 for unimproved acres, 2 unimproved acres. So the way we came up with that, this is the one-time assessment that was billed in 25, $400, and then the two annual assessment increases. And then after that, your annual assessment will stabilize at these amounts here: 342 for an improved 2 acres and 124 for an unimproved 2 acres. We feel this is a pretty good value when you consider the increased home values, reduced wear and tear on vehicles. I mean, a new windshield can easily cost $500, and improved safety, emergency response. This is what it's going to take as a community to approve this plan. This is all in accordance with our current CC&Rs and bylaws and as reviewed by Mulcahy Law Firm. So to add the 1.2-mile stretch of Mummy View to our CC&Rs is 2/3 community vote. The approval of the one-time special assessment is 51% community vote. And approval of the loan is 2/3 community vote as well. The annual assessment increases are no approvals required. The board has the authority to increase those amounts up to 20% per year. Okay, on the ballot, there'll be 3 items on the ballot. There'll be the CC&R changes, there'll be the special one-time assessment, and the loan for road repair. So our target dates here, we want to get the ballots mailed out this week. The ballots will be due on the 17th of July. Submitting the votes, the details are on the ballot for submitting them, either mail or email, and there'll be a vote in person meeting on the 17th, the last day of voting. We encourage everyone to vote promptly by mail or email, so we know who has voted and who we need to contact to encourage the vote. The vote counts will be performed by HomeCo. They will match the ballots up to a master billing sheet and do all the accounting on the ballots. So one thing that it's important to note too is that the votes are acre votes. So we'll need 432 acre votes to pass the items where 2/3, requiring 2/3 community approval. And this is 2/3 of all the acres that are owned in Prescott Prairie. And just to explain acre votes, each property owner will get a ballot, and the total acres owned by that property owner will go towards however they vote. Hopefully that's a yes. So getting ready to wrap this up here, but we believe this is a comprehensive and affordable plan that addresses this long-standing issue once and for all. We feel this is our best shot to make Own the Road a reality. As a community, we are in our best financial position ever to pull this off. If we don't do it now, we might never be able to. We all deserve a good, safe road to drive on. It's up to all of us to make it happen. Please get the word out and vote. Make sure you vote in favor. Talk to your neighbor. Make sure they vote in favor. Don't assume. If you know people who own lots but don't live here, contact them and make sure they vote in favor. This is a flyer we came up with that can be printed and displayed to show your support. It'll be available on the website as well. The idea behind it is just to try to unite us as a community on this issue and let's own the road. You can print these up, place it in your street-facing windows, put it in your car, use it when talking to neighbors, put it on the mailbox. I mean, wherever you want to do with these things. It's just kind of a uniting thing for the community. So feel free to contact any of the board members with any questions. Here's all the contact info for us here. It's going to be on the website as well. As I previously mentioned, we now have a community website, PrescottPrairieHOA.com. This slideshow and a printable ballot are on there, along with other important voting info, frequently asked questions, updates. There's also a board contact page to send suggestions or ask questions. We hope everyone will check it out and give us your input and feedback on what features you'd like to implement. It's a work in progress. We just put it together and it just went live today. Thanks again, everyone, for your attention tonight. At this time, we'll open the meeting up to questions about the presentation. Use the raise your hand feature. We ask that you keep all questions constructive and on point. I also need to mention that negative comments or foul and abusive language towards neighbors, board members, or speakers will not be tolerated.
I want to ask you a question.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Go ahead. Do we have questions?
Are you finished now? Let's see. I think we have a couple of chats. Hold on. Okay, we have one hand raised. It's David. I'm going to ask you to unmute, and when you're ready, go ahead with your question.
Yeah, so actually, can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, this is David Mueller. I just want to say thanks. Obviously, that was a lot of effort to put into this, and you definitely have my full support. I think it's a no-brainer on my end. Thank you.
Well, appreciate the comments. It was a labor of love.
Right.
Okay.
Any more questions?
You have another hand raised. It looks Crystal. So Crystal, go ahead. It looks like you're already unmuted.
Yep, thank you so much. Appreciate the presentation. One question I saw on a couple slides back was talking about the changes in the CC&R. And when you say changes, is it you just talking about Amendment 2.1? There won't be any other changes in the CC&R?
Yeah, so when you get the ballot, ballots will be mailed, and it's also on the website available for download. It is just in 2.1, and it's just adding language to 2.1.
Okay.
To include the 1.2 mile section of Mummy View Road as being maintained under our HOA.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So next is Steve Oras. Go ahead when you're ready, Steve.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I can.
Okay. First of all, appreciate all the time and effort the board and others have put into this plan. It does seem very comprehensive, and like I think it was Dave just mentioned that it sounds like it's the right direction to go. I do have a couple of questions though. I'll just go through the 5 of them, and then the board can review and comment on them. While Empire may be a very good company, are we going to see if we can get some other bids from other paving companies within a certain time frame to see if we could reduce the cost? Just a question there. Another question is...
I could probably answer that for you real quick.
Sure.
So we got 2 bids. 2 bids were probably less than $1,000 apart.
Okay.
And I'm possibly going to get another bid. But that's a pretty good cost, pretty good price
Sure.
for this.
Yeah, if you get 2 contractors that close, that's a good bid. Another question is kind of within the purview of the Prescott Prairie HOA, but what about the funds that have been contributed to the current maintenance group for this section of road? Is that going to go back to the people that donated, or is that going to get rolled into possibly funding part of the improvements?
Can I answer that for you?
Sure.
Yeah, this is Chuck from Mudview View Drive Repair and Maintenance Group. As we communicated to everyone, probably in early April, that if we did not reach our goal by the end of May, all funds received to date would be returned. Those people who agreed to have part of their funds provided for or used for patching will have a reduction, but everyone else will get a full refund. Anybody who contributed after the communication back in early April will get everything back. We actually haven't even cashed those checks. So those funds are still in your account. And that was really a point that I wanted to make, and then I'll let it go back to you, Steve. The fact that that money is going back to all the people who contributed it, those folks hopefully can think that, wow, I'm getting all that money back. Let me use that for future assessments to achieve the same thing.
Thanks, Chuck. The question on the maintenance cost, when you were talking about 20,000 every 2 to 3 years, not sure how that adds up when the master seal right now is 35,000. And the 20,000 for the maintenance for the 2 and almost 3 miles of road, the new road assessment plus the internal road, that seems kind of low.
That was,
Something to think about.
yeah, I could try to get more clarification on that, but the opinion of the paving company was that the roads in here with some patching and then the rubberized sealing and then the seal coat product would keep those roads pretty solid for another 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
And then I'm looking at the road. I look at the areas that have good pavement on them, on Mummy View. I mean, they've been there for 4 years and they're still good as new.
Okay.
Just those 3 little pieces. But
Okay.
I'm not a paving expert, so you know, I'm going by what I've been told by the paving company.
Sure. That's part of my day job. The other question I have is for the both the internal roadways and the Mummy View segment outside of the gate or arch. How is drainage being addressed? Because some of the issues with the edges of the road is that the water doesn't get off the road and it ponds and it causes the pavement to fail sooner.
Mhm.
Has that been included in any of the maintenance items?
No. And be honest with you, if we try to do a full-blown drainage plan, you know, thing with drainage, obviously water's got to go somewhere. And we're a rural community. If we try to do something with drainage, we're looking at $1 million plus job here. And
All that we need to do is take a tractor with a bucket on the back and just blade the bump that's at the edge of the pavement down and let the water get into the roadside ditches that we have, and it will do wonders for the life of the pavement.
I'm all for it.
Me too.
Yeah, that's probably the best solution there. But as far as any kind of comprehensive drainage project on that, it is not part of this.
Okay, something to consider for the life of the maintenance of the road.
Yep, appreciate
And
it.
then, we've been here long enough to know when the road was smooth and the speeds that were out there. Many people used it as a drag strip. Many people were going 65, 75 miles an hour down the road, especially down. Has there been any thought to do any humps, not bumps, but humps out there to manage the speed? And that's my last question, so I'll stop. So thank you for your patience.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, haven't given that much thought. I obviously would like to put some speed limit signs on there because it is a residential road and it should be a 25-mile-an-hour road. But that's, I don't have a badge and we don't have much police presence up in this neck of the woods, so I don't know how effective that would be. But that would be something to address if that really gets out of hand for sure.
Those are good questions.
Yeah, thank you very much. Any more questions?
We do have some. Let's see who's Glenn McDorman has his hand up. So I'm gonna unmute you, Glenn, and you can ask your question when you're ready. Can you hear us, Glenn? Okay. Well, we can loop back around to him. Steve Martino, do you have your hand up? Did you have a question? Can you hear us, Steve?
Hey, this is Glenn. I'm here when you're ready for me.
Oh, well, let's start with you because it doesn't sound like Steve's ready.
Okay. Wanted to say thanks, Jeff and the board. Great job. Appreciate all the hard work for this. Definitely one of my concerns would be the drainage as well. Looks like that's where the road fails. And so maybe you could talk to the paving company and see what they suggest. And did they have any best guesstimate for how long the road will last before we need to do this same process again?
The estimate they gave us, would be a 20-year road.
Okay. All right. Well, that was my two questions. Concerned about drainage and when we have to do it again. So again, thanks for all your work on this. Great job.
Hey, you're welcome, Glenn. Thanks.
Steve, did you have a question? Are you ready? Okay. Let's go. Chuck, did you have another question?
Well, actually, a point and a question. The point is to congratulate the board for the incredible amount of work that they've put into it, having worked on Miami View Drive repair and maintenance and seeing all the work that Sky and the rest of the team put together on this. I completely have a great appreciation for what you and the rest of the board have done, Jeff, and I congratulate you. That also being said, those of us who have been here for a while can certainly testify to the fact that we have tried every single possible way to address this issue with no success. And I think the effort that Sky led was our last best attempt to do it without HOA involvement. And Brandon and his team, again, the last best effort without the HOA doing it. So my personal opinion is the only solution is to do this. That all being said, when we tried to do this, amend the CCNRs, gosh, that was probably 9 years ago. One of the things that we felt was an error was that we put a deadline. And, because people kind of procrastinate and don't get things in. And so the deadline came and went, and we didn't reach a quorum. And I see again that a deadline is being set. And I understand the whole idea is we want to get going, but I'm also worried if we get 5 votes short of a quorum or of approval and we hit the deadline, then we have to start all over again. That's my other question.
Well, we can, at our discretion, at the board's discretion, we can extend the voting period.
Perfect. That's all I needed to know. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Chuck.
I think part of the reason for the deadline, though, is to strike while the iron is hot, to use a cliche.
Yeah.
And Jeff, have you addressed the time frame for when the company had said they might be available?
We need to take this one step at a time. Obviously, if we are able to pass this, we'll get on their schedule. They said usually within 30 days of
Right.
of signing a contract, we can get on their schedule. So
Yeah, I'm not suggesting you give an exact time frame,
yeah,
but they seem to have availability to
Yep.
make this happen pretty quickly.
it needs to get done. So, but we definitely, we got to get this passed first. I mean, honestly, guys, this was the easy part here. The hard part's
Gonna get the vote.
we got to get those votes. So if everyone's buying into this plan, do whatever you can to get these votes in. Any more questions?
Yeah, we have some in the chat and also still some hands up. Christine, when you're ready, go ahead.
Okay, wait, can you hear me?
Yes.
So, Mike, first of all, thank you so much, you guys, for doing this. This was just absolutely amazing. And it did go by, it's beautiful. But I just want to, out of pocket for 2025, are you saying our property, because we have a 2-acre property, so let's just assume everybody does. They don't, but are you saying out of pocket is basically under $600? That's all we need to do?
Yeah, here's the slide here.
Right.
The one-time assessment this year. So if we're able to pass all 3 ballot items, you will get a bill for $400 for your property, 2-acre property. And then in the next 2 years, your annual assessment will go up $47 in 26 and $104 in 27. And that will be your 3-year total out of pocket, $552.
Which I'm not gonna lie, I'm shocked. I'm shocked that that's how low that is. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was gonna be much more because obviously we all drive this road and it seemed like, how are we ever gonna fix this? So thank you guys so much for doing that because that's just amazing. So thank you for doing that, and I feel so much better. I'm not gonna lie.
You're welcome. Everyone you
Spread
talk
the
to,
word.
make them
Oh,
vote.
I'm gonna laminate that. Send me that. I'm gonna laminate them. I'm gonna laminate
Good
them.
for you.
I'll give them out to all you people. We can put them everywhere, and they will be. Since we're getting the rains, as you know, I'm very excited. So thank you guys so much for doing this. And Jeff, oh my goodness, I'm making you dinner. So thank you. That's all I had to say. Thank you.
All right, well, awesome. Thanks.
Okay.
Any more?
Yeah. Chuck, did you have your hand up from before? Or do you have another question?
No, I have one more point, and it kind of goes along with what Christine said. What can we do to help you? I mean,
Spread the
canvassing,
word.
knocking on doors. I mean, yeah, get the word out. I get that, but you know, we need to take some action. And so what can we do to motivate people to knock on doors? I mean, is there going to be a group that's trying to organize knocking on doors? What can we do to help you guys?
We could, since you're offering, we could definitely discuss that. We have a couple of banners that we made that we're going to hang on the fence outside the arch. So this is in everyone's face that comes in and out every day. Big banners, vote, pave the road. For information, go to the website. I mean, they're cool banners, and we're going to put them on the fence. They'll be up there probably in the next 2 or 3 days. So that should get some the people that weren't on the call tonight. They'll see that, but yeah, we could talk about that, Chuck. Would love to try to put together a plan.
Great. A lot of us will be very willing to help.
Awesome.
Looks like we've got someone's chat notification up on the screen. Okay.
Yeah. Well, thank you whoever did that. Appreciate that.
Okay, we don't have any more hands up, but we do have a lot of messages, so let me just scroll through real quick and see what the questions are. It looks like Jim, sorry if I say your last name wrong, Jim DeVos had a question, but he couldn't figure out how to raise his hand. Do you still have a question, Jim? I'm going to ask you to unmute. Let us know if you still have a question. Okay. And
Someone posted it. It's very positive. It's awesome.
Ken Hornsby asked, will the road thickness support the heavy equipment for further building?
No, I said I didn't want it.
Oh,
My question was,
go ahead.
they said they're gonna take care of the inside the area. Is that just the H and the rest of us suck?
It is just the H. The H is the only paved areas, or the only areas of association responsibility right now is what you call the H. Mummy View, St. Matthews, and Don and Milky. All the other streets in this community are technically private drives, and up to the owners to take care of those.
Okay.
Any more questions?
Well, Ken Hornsby had asked, will the road thickness support the heavy equipment for further building?
I would say yes. Again, I'm not a paving expert. You could see on the road that the 2 or 3 areas that are nice, probably about 500 or 600 feet worth. Those were paved. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, somebody, but I think 4 or 5 years ago.
No, earlier than that. They're not that old.
Okay. Anyway, they're holding up just fine, and you know what's giving away is the chip seal. But again, that's 20-year-old chip seal. We feel that this paving is the way to go, and it will stand the test of time.
With regular maintenance.
With regular maintenance, correct.
Okay. Um,
There was a question about liabilities.
I don't see that one yet, but I'm kind of scrolling down the list here. There's a few. George Parsh asked, was there any alternative construction methods for the road researched or looked at as a more cost-effective and or easier to maintain in the future than asphalt?
No, it was the board's opinion that paving with asphalt was the best long-term solution. And we've proven that with this presentation, we could definitely afford that. We didn't think it was cost effective really to go with a cheaper solution. This is a long-term solution that we can maintain for many, many years.
Okay. There's a comment from Kairos, just a comment. It says, thank you for coming up with a viable solution to this problem that affects all of us.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Garrett, I don't know if this was an old question because I think we answered this one, but I'm just going to say it real quick. Just curious, how many acre votes below to actual owners that live in the community? Basically, how many non-residents do we need to return a vote, which was a problem previously?
You could look on the, I'm still sharing the screen, right?
Yeah.
You could see this was as of the billing for 25. So you see here, we have unimproved acres, 304, improved acres, 344. And, I know for a fact that a lot of the unimproved acres are owned by people in the community, living in the community. So that's a plus. I hope
Okay.
that if that answers his question.
Well, I think he can raise his hand if not. Crystal asked, can we levy a fee on the heavy duty construction trucks like cement trucks? Jeff, if you don't mind, I'll kind of touch on that. You guys do have, I believe, a road impact fee out there, don't you? For new constructions?
Yeah, that's the ARC fee for new
So,
construction.
so that's kind of what that is. So your guys' ARC review fee for new builds includes a road impact fee, which is accounting for the damage to the roads due to the heavy equipment and the back and forth from the construction workers. So that is kind of what you're doing currently.
So this is Crystal. So my question is on that. I know that the H is what's taken care of inside, and they say that our private roads are not. And these trucks are doing major damage to some of these private roads where they're doing this construction. Who fixes those roads? Is it the builder's responsibility to come fix those roads? That's what we're asking. I mean, not necessarily, maybe there should be a levy for big trucks coming in, I don't know, but because they did a lot of damage to Mummy View. But our private roads are being, really destroyed in some areas. And I don't think it's responsibility of us to fix those when some people are building new homes and the roads are destroyed.
Right. Unfortunately, I don't think the association would be able to do much unless if there was an instance where there was some major damage to an area caused specifically by one new build, and we had pictures or proof, we might be able to put them in compliance for that. But as far as like the association being able to allocate funds towards fixing it from the impact fee, that wouldn't be a possibility. It would be more of a neighbor to neighbor issue. It would be something you should address directly with your neighbor.
Well, some neighbors don't move in for quite some time because things are, built
Right.
for sale or whatever it might be. So it's kind of a moot point at that.
Yeah, understood. it's something I could possibly help the board look into, as far as like what your guys's options are for requiring them to help fix it, but I other than compliance and working things out with your neighbors for the maintenance of that road, I'm not sure right now what your avenue would be, but we can look into that one.
What street are you on?
Well, I'm just talking in general because they're building a lot over on this section, out by Outlaw and Hickory Drive. They'll be building some more out here too. But, they come down and there are some stuff torn up, but I know there's other roads too. It's not just us.
Looking at Jeff, hi, this is Todd. Shouldn't it be the cost of each individual builder or general contractor to take care of any damage on the road or an assessment on them when they build to cover that for the private drives?
Well, they pay obviously they're paying the ARC fee. Now that shouldn't give them carte blanche to just tear the roads up. But I guess to Hannah's point, if we can, we're able to pin the exact damage to a specific contractor, maybe we could go after them for that and at least say, hey, fix this road that you drove in the mud or something with your heavy trucks.
Doesn't that fall under the ARC responsibilities?
It would be a separate form of compliance from what the like your normal HOA compliance. It would be like an ARC compliance item, which I'd have to go and look and see what your guys' ARC rules are, but you might have something in there that states what the process is for a vendor or a construction vehicle that tore up a road.
Right.
The thing that's a little different with you guys, a lot of associations will, well, they don't have these owner roads. This is kind of a different deal with you guys where you have owners that maintain these roads and share these roads. So the HOA isn't technically responsible for them, and it should probably fall under a neighbor to neighbor thing where the owners of that share that road need to work it out amongst each other. But you guys might have something in there where you could enforce it. A lot of associations will take a deposit and they'll hold it during the build. And that kind of is incentive for them to not tear up roads and do things like that, because then if they do, you hold the deposit to make the repair. But in this situation, I don't know how much sway the HOA has over those roads because they're not HOA maintenance. So I do think this is going to end up being an owner to owner thing where they'd have to work it out with the owner of that lot. But I will look into it and get a better answer.
So Jeff, we can follow up at our next meeting and give feedback.
For sure. Yeah. Let's, Hannah, if you could check that out and let us know what recourse we have for that, that'd be wonderful.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. The Cravens said thank you for your well thought out and detailed plan. Howard Strand asked, are there any specific requirements from the county or Prescott Valley for approvals?
No.
They've pretty much washed their hands.
Yeah. The county road was attempted several times. I know that in the history of Prescott Prairie, and it isn't going to happen. So there's no county involvement on this road at all.
Okay. Joseph, you said you had trouble raising your hand. If you want to, I just asked you to unmute. So if you're ready for your question, go ahead.
Yes, I have one question, Jeff and the board. Thank you very much for all the effort to put this together. Nothing is perfect, but certainly you guys have done a fantastic job so far. Hopefully we get the votes. My question is, I know you have a cutoff for an in-person vote on July 17th, I believe, just going back to my mind and just recalling that. how long would the contractor hold this cost for? Obviously, they're not going to hold it forever.
Mhm.
Is there a kind of a time limit that they have that, they would need a go, no-go decision to hold that cost? Is that months from now, 6 months from now? So that's basically my question.
I mean, the price could change. I, you know, I have a feeling we'll be able to keep that same price. That's about the best I could tell you.
So there's no, I mean, no, they want to do this in the next, second quarter. Well, by third quarter, we're already in the second quarter, and that price would hold firm until that point in time. And I understand that, they're not going to hold that forever, but that's what I'm looking for from an just for
Sure.
people to get out there and vote. And I mean, it's a great proposal from what we've had in the past. So again, I commend everyone for putting this together. Not perfect, but it's certainly much better than what we have, and much better that we will have if we don't do it. And that was my question.
Okay,
Thank
well,
you.
about all I can add something to that, and you know, if you look, I still got the slide up here. If you look at these cash balances, I mean, I don't want it to go from 491 to 591, but if it goes up, 5 or 10 grand, we've got the money to do it. So
Okay.
Up or down?
yeah,
Down.
Great job, Jeff, and everyone. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Steve, again, I'm not sure if this was an old question already answered, but I'm going to go ahead and state it just to make sure. Steve Martino said, I have run multiple repay projects in the past and was wondering if the specs for the two bids were equal and submitted to bidders, or if we are receiving bids on separate specs. Also, if there are any requirements for a seal coat within 3 to 6 months after repave, as it will extend surface life greatly.
Well, the two bids were comparable. They did the same work. It was the same work that was described by Empire was the same work that the other bidder was going to do. I'm sorry, I didn't the seal coat question. Can you read that to me again?
Yeah, he said, is there any requirement for a seal coat within 3 to 6 months after the repave, as it will extend the surface life greatly?
Yes, we did get a price on that too, and that was going to roll into the $20,000 figure for every 2 to 3 years. They did say that they would come out, and I can get that dollar amount, but it was like 18,000, I think, to do to put the seal coat on the new paved 1.2 mile section.
Okay, the Cravens asked, what would the access issues be when the work begins, and road restrictions?
That's a great question, and I don't have the answer for that. I can, in talking to the paving companies, I mean, they do this for a living, and they told me they would come up with a plan for that. We're a ways from that, but obviously that's going to be an issue, and we'll communicate it the best we can and try to make it as non-invasive as possible to everybody.
Okay. Kermit asked, what about property owners outside the HOA that use Mummy View, and is the county needing to be involved? I think we already answered the county one. And
Yeah, the county one we answered. The people outside the arch, that's just the cost of doing business. I mean, we got what, 20 homes along there. I'm honestly, when I had 90% of the traffic is Prescott Prairie. I would say it's probably more like 98% of the traffic is on Prescott Prairie, and not really gonna try to chase those people down for a donation or anything. They put up with that road forever, the dust and everything else. I think they deserve to drive on a nice road.
I agree.
Okay. Jim DeVos.
I'd like to add something
Go ahead.
to one of the questions there. This is Don Sparkman. Can you hear me? Everybody can hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
Talking with the paving company, they do this all the time. They supply drivers and golf carts if somebody needs to, get back and forth up and down the road during the paving process. Of course, they will not close up both lanes of traffic, but like I said, that is probably the least of our problems with access to our homes up here, because they actually said that they have golf carts they use to transfer people up and down the road.
Usually what I've seen also, Don, to your point, is they'll do one side at a time to allow access through the other side. And they'll just have a person on each end allowing one side of traffic to come through, and then they'll stop it and allow the other side. So I'm sure that they will have a plan worked out so that nobody's trapped.
It won't be an issue at all.
Yeah. Jim DeVos said, "What an elegant solution that really is so economical for all of us. Great work from the board." Linda Wilson said, "As far as contacting people, we need a plan for contacting those who own unimproved property and have no idea what's going on. That is going to be the hardest group to rein in." Homeco has a list of all of the contact information. All of this will be mailed out to them, and if we're e-blasting it, they'll get the presentation that way as well. So outside of that, unless any of you have personal contacts for residents, I think that's the best we can do. Hopefully they're looking at their emails and checking their mail, and they'll get all the notices and get on board.
Yeah, we put a cover letter in with the ballot and put out kind of an appeal to the unimproved lot owners that don't live here. So hopefully that strikes a chord with them.
Mm-hmm. Sally Dosey asked, "Will the homeowners outside of Prescott Prairie are they going to contribute to the road and future maintenance?"
No. We have no power over them. It's like I said, it's kind of the cost of doing business. I mean, we're 95, 98% of the traffic on that road. And there's not much we can do to solicit any kind of donations or anything from them.
It's the easement.
Yep. Howard Strand kind of asked the same question, so we'll go with the answer you just gave, Jeff. It's not really a name, it looks like a user tag, but they said maybe put a specific color flag in our yards to show that we voted yes. So easy to be seen by everyone.
That's a great idea. Yeah, if we want to come up with something like that, I mean, even if you voted, print up one of those flyers, stick it in your window. I mean, if we do a door-to-door, we can see who's voted easily enough. I mean, we could get creative with this for sure. It's it's going to take the whole community to make it happen. And any ideas you can come up with, feel free to contact any of the board members. We'd love to try to help you implement them.
Yep.
Michelle and Harriet, you guys have had your hand up for a while. Do you want to go ahead and with your question? Are you guys still with us? Well, I'll keep going down the list of comments, and if they pipe in, we can take your question at that time. Kermit asked, when is improvement scheduled for inside the arc? Does it need to wait for the outside?
Ideally, yes. I mean, the roads inside the arch, there's a few potholes right now that we're going to deal with. We're going to patch those ourselves that we've seen close to the close to the opening
arch.
there, close to the arch area. We just assume try to wait and get everything done at once. That's basically how they bid it. So it would be cost effective to wait.
Okay. Annette Rooney asked, what would the cost be after 3 years? I think we said 20,000 every 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, we're estimating about $20,000 in maintenance every 2 to 3 years. And again, if you look at these cash balance numbers, the maintenance is taken out of these numbers. We took 10,000 out each year for road maintenance set aside. So we're even with that 10,000 pulled out of there, set aside for road maintenance, we're still looking good cash wise.
Yeah. Linda Wilson said, we so appreciate everything the board has done. Thank you to all involved in the process. Steve Brown, he said, what liabilities would there be to the Prescott Prairie HOA if someone has an accident on that portion of the road?
I would say zero. I mean, an accident, it depends what caused the accident, of course.
Wouldn't it be the same as the H, Jeff?
Yeah, well, and I would think that if it had to do with the only way I would see there being any liability is if it had to do specifically with a defect in the paving, in which case I would think that would be on Empire, not necessarily the HOA.
Correct.
I mean, there's a lot of
what ifs,
a lot of speculation there. What ifs if the guy was doing 90 miles an hour and lost control or whatever. There's a lot going on there, but
I see a lot more liability in the condition of the road as it is. So
I would agree.
Does this project, Steve Oraz asked, does this project include improving those paved areas as well as the new pavement section? I think he's asking about the H.
No, sorry.
Maybe the existing paved sections of Mummy View,
the ones that were done a couple of years ago.
Oh.
Those would come out, correct?
We would try to any of the decent any of the paving that is still in good condition, we would try to retain that as part of this.
Those patches are 2 inches on dirt, and there's many areas that are failing already because they have no base. So if it's 1.2 miles from Coyote Springs to the arch, we should be redoing the whole section. Otherwise, we'll be in another maintenance issue because those sections don't have any base under them.
They have the same base as every other section,
which is nothing.
Well, like I said, if we get into a project to excavate, the major parts of the road and put down aggregate in there, we're looking at $1 million road. I mean, the road is after all these years, I got to believe it's compacted enough to sustain putting pavement on it. The paved sections that were just done are in darn near perfect condition.
And the,
I'd be happy to meet you out there and show you the sections that are failing.
what is your suggestion then?
Pave the whole thing, just do it all, they're gonna be milling it and crushing it and making a base material. And then they're gonna compact that, then they're putting the 3 inches of asphalt on top of it. They should just do the whole section from one end to the other.
We'll take that under advisement.
Thank you.
That could affect the vote.
Annette Rooney asked an already answered question, but she said, "Will the homes outside the arc be contributing to the cost?" So that one's a no. Jane G said, "Thank you to all involved in this proposal. I'm looking forward to getting the slideshow to review further. As of now, this sounds like a great plan."
Thank you.
What are the guarantees from the paving company? Brenda Brown asked that.
Good question. I would have to get back to you on that one. I'll get an answer on that, and I'll on the website there's
Post it.
a frequently asked question page, and I'll post it in that.
Good.
Steve Martino said, "Are the community members on the call aware of the $4,000 current new build impact fee?" That one is something we can address in the open forum after we're done with this, because it doesn't have to do with this
I
necessarily.
need to raise my hand.
Are there a lot more questions, Hannah?
Well, we've got at least 10 more messages I'm kind of going through as a Steve Martino said ARC fee was only $260 for 4 years. Okay, that's the same. Sorry. George, did you have an insurance related question that we missed?
10,000 or 20,000 every 3 years.
I thought they said 20.
George, are you still on with us?
Hannah, if you go way up high on the comments, you're going to see George asked a question that unfortunately was skipped over, and just has to do with insurance, how it affects the HOA.
I would have to look into that as well. That's a good question.
Oh, I see it. He said, "I heard that if Prescott Prairie tries to take over the road, that it will lose our Prescott Prairie insurance. Is this true? And will you have this verified by HomeCo? And can we have a live in-person meeting in the future?" I think that, so, I mean, we'll definitely clarify this, I believe, but I think that the concern with your insurance before was if this was not done legally. Now, if we weren't to take these 3 steps that your board is currently trying to take, and they were to go and just use the funds to pave the road, yes, your insurance would probably have an issue with that, because you're taking on liability for something that is outside of your association's guidelines.
Thank you.
The way you're doing it now, I don't see there being an issue.
Okay.
Joseph, did you still have another question?
Yes, I did. Just a quick question. Since we're under the jurisdiction here of the sheriff's office, and I volunteer with sheriff's office a lot, will we require some presence from a deputy, for traffic control? Is that an extra cost item? Will that be included by YCSO or the paving company? because I say we, they do a lot of that during projects such as this. Are we going to need that for the so-called residents and speeders who are not so polite sometimes?
Nicely put.
Excuse my, but I put it very nicely.
Are you talking about after paving's complete or during the paving?
During,
During paving.
During the
for
paving?
safety purposes, Jeff.
Yeah, because there are people who are a little bit wild. And
Jeff, I'd like to add to this.
Sure, go
I'd
ahead.
like to step in here. This is Don Sparkman. The paving company, as I said earlier, takes care of all that. That's all included. Any type of traffic control we need to do, that's all included with the paving thing. So we do not have to get the sheriff's department involved with this.
my question, John, is it's not law enforcement necessarily, but I understand they do have traffic control. But law enforcement sometimes, just as an observer, just sitting there with the lights on, they do this all the time, from the county. And since we're an unincorporated area, we are, under the jurisdiction of YCSO, not Prescott Valley PD. That was my only question.
Sure.
Well, like I stated, the paving company takes care of that. I guess if they feel like they need to bring somebody like that in because they have somebody unruly, they will make that phone call and get a deputy in.
Okay, thank you. That was it.
Thank
Good
you.
questions.
Anything else, Anna?
Steve Martinez said, could Dawn to Milky Way be considered as a future construction roadway to limit heavy equipment damage to Mummy View?
I mean, it could, but to police it would be a whole different story. And especially that would be something we would have to look into. But to make everyone go down that road in their big trucks versus, Mummy View, it's going to be hard to police it.
Right.
But I don't know if there's something we can. Yeah, we would have to look into that. I don't have a good answer for that one.
Julie said Dawn to Milky Way can be used to help during paving.
It could what? Could help during
It could be used to help during the paving.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, it's another way out of the community, and they're I'm sure part of traffic rerouting will use that road during some of this maintenance out here.
Okay. Kairos said, can we require contractors to use the H as much as possible? There was a couple of comments under that. Bailey Eufus said, I as a builder would be fine using the H once repaired, and then the HOA could actually use the road impact fee. But as of now, the H, at least through Mummy View, is largely impassable for large vehicles. And then Thomas said, I don't remember. Oh, he was directing me back to the liability question. Do you have an answer for that one, Jeff?
I mean, you can talk to individual contractors if, like, for example, when I built my house here, the people that live on the actual street I live on didn't want the traffic to go down that street. So they talked to my contractor and said, hey, can you have all your guys go down the back street that backs up to my property? And the contractor said, yeah, no problem. But as far as forcing everyone to use the H, there's so many contractors and cement companies and dump truck companies and haulers. It's just it's very, very difficult to police that.
Right. Steve Brown said, can you explain in more detail why the attorney's opinion that the 100% current case law doesn't apply to our situation?
It was individual versus
It was,
community.
yeah,
correct?
I'll go back to that. That their opinion was that the ruling applies to amendments that change how an individual owner may use his or her property.
Correct.
That's the determination that doesn't apply to us. This isn't an individual owner. Our proposed amendment applies to the entire community.
Okay. Steve Orris suggested asking the law firm the insurance liability question to be sure.
Yeah, we could definitely do that and obviously talk to our insurance company and
Yep.
see what
For
they have
sure.
to say.
Michelle and Harriet, or Michelle in Arizona, maybe. She said, in the past, we were told the cost to replace the one worst section of the road was $500,000. How are we replacing all the bad parts of the road for $491,000?
That's the bids we got. I wasn't part of that other bidding process, so I can't really answer to that.
Correct.
The
Okay.
bid was 150,000 to do the center section.
And that was a separate entity, correct?
Just to do the center section was the 150, yes.
Yeah, through the Mommy View group.
Yes, through the
Mhm.
group.
Any more questions?
Howard Strand said that in the presentation, it was stated the entire 1.2 miles would be ground up and reused as base. And now we're only discussing doing certain sections. He said he's confused. Please confirm the scope of work requested from the paving companies.
The scope of work was to make the whole 1.2 mile section solid paved road and to incorporate any of the sections that are in good shape. So they would tie into those sections and use as much of that as they could. So overall, we're going to have a 1.2 mile section of a very nice drivable road.
Okay. Russ says, what are the HOA costs after 3 years? How are we paying for the 20,000 every 3 years? Correct me if I'm wrong, Jeff, but that is what the increase in assessments is covering.
Yeah, is there a way to get rid of this?
That right?
It maybe if you stop share screening and do it again, I think other people are annotating on it by accident. There you go. I think if you just click from the current slide in the top left, if you go up to the top left and click the little slideshow area.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so I'm sorry. So The two increase, here's the increases here, 26 and 27. I'm not, can you restate the question for me? I'm sorry.
It was Russ.
Okay, and the question was again?
What are our HOA costs after 3 years? How are we paying for the 20,000 every 3 years?
Well, here you can see that we took out, this is just out of the overall, monies that are coming in, the receivables of the community. So this is our cash balance here. We're just taking out 10,000 out of that cash balance and setting it aside for road maintenance. I mean, wherever the money comes from is, if it's art fees, if it's annual assessments, if it's, whatever it is, it all goes into the same pot. You can see here that the two increases, revisit this, but it was, $552 out of your pocket for an improved 2-acre lot. And this is just part of the plan. See, part of annual assessments is they need to keep up with inflation too. They have to go up every so often just to keep up. Ours haven't gone up that much. So we're not doing this just to do it, but it's to keep a healthy cash balance in the community, and we're still maintaining a very reasonable annual assessment fee, as you can see down here. This will be your fees going forward after the two increases. I hope that answers the question, but yeah, that's the 10,000 is just being as a set aside out of our cash, just to show that we could easily do that.
Okay. Bailey asked a question regarding the DIY speed bump, but we can address that one in open forum since it doesn't have to do with this. Guy said the original cost for the 1,600-foot section was 150,000, which I think that had to do with the previous question about the price difference.
Right.
That being said, I think we are through all of our questions.
Recording in progress.
If anyone else has any questions, this is your last chance to speak on this currently. I don't see any hands raised or any more comments, so I think you're good to motion for the ballot to go out.
Okay, so I move that we go forward with balloting on this plan immediately.
I second the motion.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, looks like the motion is passed. We will get those ballots out.